want Rich to introduce himself.
Howdy. My name's Rich. I'm a member of Rolfie's Vespa Club. We're Vespa Club Las Gatas. I met these folks about almost 10 years ago. I've been following Rolfie around. We've been on a couple cannonballs together. I've tried to learn everything I could from him. I believe that I can take one of these things down completely to just parts and put it back together by myself, start up right away, and have no concerns at all. I've been a mechanic, not a professional mechanic, but I've been working on stuff for my whole life. I really love scooters. I have 9 bikes at home. Well, okay, I have 5 bikes that run. I have 4 projects.
That goes back to the put it back together, no worries.
But I don't know that I've been lucky or if I understand machines or whatever, but I can make them run. And I can put my bike together and get on it and go anywhere I want and have no worries. The recent cannonball I went on, I replaced the motor. We built up a motor, changed the whole top end, and I had 8 hours on the motor before we left.
Wow.
And I just knew it was solid. I don't know, luck or whatever. I just understand the machine. But that guy right there has spent countless hours doling out stuff to me, and I've done everything I could to soak it all in. He took me to the Piaggio class 3 years ago?
Yeah.
3 years, 4 years ago. I think I'm the only
I
one
told
in the
my
US.
bosses, I'm going to bring a friend of mine with me. Is that okay? He said, yeah, no
Yeah.
problem.
He's
But I've never worked for him, but I got to go to the factory training, which was 5 days down in Los Angeles. I'm on this guy's website. My name is Glass Eye. Well, you all know that. But I have no life.
And a dog.
Yeah. But if you ever have any troubles or anything, feel free to contact me. I enjoy doing this. I do.
Can I call you from the road?
You
I'm
can.
on the side of the freeway, help me.
It's happened before.
We did Cannonball together. The first one was in 2006, right?
Yeah. And then you were the sport guy.
So I did Cannonball twice. I did 1 year, I rode it in 2006, and in 2008 I rode Jesse's truck as a support truck. The guys didn't have to carry anything, they had it the easy way, just riding the scooter. So that
In
made
2008, Rolf and I built a bike. He had a bike called a Skipper, which is like a fly.
like a fly model. Yeah. And
what
I
we did
sat
is we
here
took-
one night and looked at it on the hoist, and I had a motor from Piaggio sitting there. I said, I wonder if that motor fits in it. So I had one more martini, ripped the motor out, shoved the other motor in. No shit, it fits. Then I turned it to Rich. And he took care of it and built it.
Yeah, in 08, the Cannonball I went on, I was on the Skipper, and it had the GTS250 motor, and I made basically the entire thing out of whole cloth. Motor mounts, there was 5 different wiring harnesses involved, cooling system made up from whole cloth. And got on that bike and rode it. There were no mechanical issues at all, except for front end. It had a little. The bike was not made to go over 65 miles an hour. At 80 miles an hour, front end became unstable, and they nicknamed it.
Chucky.
Yeah.
Because every day it tried to kill him. Every single day.
Every day you were riding over 80 or
But
over 60.
mechanically,
Yeah.
it was flawless, which is,
Just
what I want.
possessed.
So kind of, sort of. But that's where I come from. So go ahead.
Jess?
I'm not special. I'm just kind of observing.
Oh,
this.
yes,
You
you
know,
are. You're special.
I'm not part of this event except as an observer. You all know me as Jess on MV, and I bought a scooter out of the blue in 2005 when my wife wanted a scooter, so I got one too. And I became very enamored of the kind of riding. My wife maybe less so, and quickly these other guys and introduced me to Rolf and BCLG, and I actually now live about 2 miles from here. I left very recently. Yeah, that's probably enough said. You all know enough about my life from online.
Yeah, we want to know your name and what you write.
My name's Aaron. On Modern Vespa, my screen name is Masala. Yeah.
You're the legendary Masala.
Legendary, I don't know, but I've been around not nearly as long as some of these guys have on board, but longer than a lot of other people. I've seen it grow a lot. I started out in 2000 and I think it must have been 2004 in Scottsdale, Arizona. I went into one of the boutiques and I wanted to buy an ET4, but I was in grad school and I had no job and really no credit, and I tried to get the Vespa financing through GE credit and I couldn't. So I didn't get it. So I didn't get an ET4. And then finished school, moved to San Jose, and was going down San Carlos Street one day and saw Vespa in the window of, San Jose BMW motorcycles. And I thought, they have scooters, I'll go in there and check it out. And it took me about 24 hours to decide I was getting one. And so my first bike was a 2007 LX150, which I rode for 3 years, and then upgraded to a GTS300, which I have. It's the white one out there. And I don't ride as much as I would like to, but hopefully that'll change in the next year or two. Just with work schedule and commuting times and stuff, I'm a chicken, so I don't get on the road at 4:30 in the morning, but maybe I will someday. So anyway, I'm here just to learn about the stuff. I've done oil changes and minor things myself.
My name is Karen Schneider. I started on the 150 also. I had an LX 150 for a while and I loved it. And I have a 250 that recently caught on fire, and part of the reason I'm here is to learn why. Yeah, I was riding it at the time, so that was exciting. And I also have a GT60. And mainly why I'm here is I'm on the road a lot, and I want to be able to fix things on the road, or at least get patched up enough. So if there's tools that I can carry that are light enough weight. Cannonball, I was with Star, and she had a truck worth of tools that ended up getting stolen, which was terrible. And so she was sort of stuck, and I didn't want to be ever in that position. So whatever information I can get from you, I'm very happy for. So thanks for doing it.
We're more
And your
than
modern
happy
Vespa
to
handle?
let you know everything you want to know.
I will be asking
And,
questions until you're sick of me.
certain things we're gonna cover, and we at least talk about it, so you get an idea how things work, or what is the easy way of doing it or determining it.
Right. That's part of it. I don't always know what it is.
Because, you got to know, in order to diagnose something, you got to know the basic stuff. Where do I start? And you got to separate things. Is it electrical or is it fuel? That's number one, so.
My name's Tony Zabludowski. I'm just a site. I don't have many posts because everybody else knows all the answers. And I don't see a reason for me to even chime in most of the time. But
What, you search?
well,
You're that one guy.
I was wondering about that little traffic clip.
I just read. I just keep reading and I just get information. But I work on elevators by trade, mechanically. I'm not as good reading it as opposed to seeing it and getting to touch it. I know I'll get a ton more doing it this way.
You're welcome.
So thank you very much for putting on the class. I've been looking forward to this since
you talked to
since I saw it, since I was able to get in. So looking forward to it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
My name is Michael. On Modern Vespa, my name is Miguel. I don't know quite why I just didn't use Michael R or something, but it's Miguel. I've been riding motorcycles for 42 years, and I've been riding bicycles for probably another 12 years beyond that. I'm a really avid bicyclist as well as a scooterist. I can afford anything I want, and I ride a GTV. I really love it. It's fantastic. It's kind of like riding a bicycle without all the work. I've had scooters for about 7 years, and I keep thinking about getting motorcycles, and the 250 is just perfect. You can take it anywhere. You can park it at the front door at the mall, and I'm definitely afraid that Vespa Santa Cruz is going to go out of business, and I won't have any options except to come over the hill. And it takes me almost as long to go over there and bring my bike over and have them do an oil change and then go back later in the day. And I keep wondering why I'm just not doing it myself. So, and I also echo your concerns about doing longer rides and just breaking down and trying to figure out, okay, what's wrong. And I think I understand a lot of the basic principles, but I'm really looking forward to seeing the practice.
Yeah, okay.
My name is Ryan Scott. I'm actually pretty new to the world of scooters. I've ridden motorcycles for about 10 years, mainly the Japanese type, race type. I've been on track before, but I bought my first scooter in May of this year. I bought my second scooter last month. So
What did you sold?
my first one was an Aprilia 125,
Okay,
and then I bought a BV 350
okay,
just this month. So
okay.
and ever since then I've just become enamored with scooters.
BV 250,
350.
early model, or 50?
The
350.
350.
The new one, yeah.
Oh man, you know more than I do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, really, where is it?
While we're talking about the 350, we will give you some information.
Okay.
I will shortly talk about that too, just so everybody knows what's happening. Okay? Thank you.
Your handle?
Oh, Rai 2.
Okay.
Rai?
Right.
Yeah.
Hi, I am Denise Hodge. My scooter name, I'm fairly new to the thing, so it's crazy. I didn't choose a snazzy name like everybody else. I just used initials. So I guess I'll be changing it now. I'll get a handle.
You're fine.
Yeah, I know you'll
What are
find
the initials?
DNH31TLG.
Oh, you're as
10.
bad as me.
Yeah,
Oh,
I didn't
no.
know.
Numbers and letters,
So I was just waiting to finally get to meet other scooterists because in Vacaville, we do exist, but they're few and far between. For me, I am retired military, so I'm fully retired. I don't do anything except go to stuff like this. I do what I want, and I travel a lot. But I was stationed in Italy for 4 years, and I'm an in-betweener. I have the Classic that I tried to restore myself. I ended up having to get a Piaggio guy to put it together because he laughed at me because it could never start. But I actually found a Vespa in a showroom that was just in the display. It didn't have any of the paperwork because they had seized the engine. So I bought it without any paperwork because I knew the military would quickly ship it back to the States without any paperwork. So I bought it and I restored it, and I actually took it from a 125 up to a 200cc engine. But it was fun taking it apart, putting it back together, except I couldn't get it to work, so I had to pay a guy. But now, so I have that, and I've imported it. So luckily, like I said, the military is great. I imported that one and a 50cc, and I also have a 250 GTS, and I have a 650 Yamaha that I'm thinking about upgrading to a 1300. So I'm kind of all over the board.
I like rabbits, huh?
Yeah, exactly. They breed like rabbits. You just keep
You have
getting
one, you're safe. You have two, you're gonna
You're
have.
dead, yeah.
Yes, I got an SUV and I got a sedan. It bikes galore. Yes, you name it, I got it. Exactly.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm Mary Kaus, I'm Quip MC on Modern Vespa. I got lured into the Vespa world by a friend of mine who was a British Lambretta rider from the 50s and 60s. He's been profiled in a number of the European scooter magazines. He's now kind of the grand old man of Lambrettas at this point. He missed Brighton when they had the riots. He was working that day. But anyway, he was busy restoring a bunch of Lambrettas and got a Vespa for something to ride around while he was restoring the Lambrettas. And when he decided to get rid of it, I was doing some subcontract work for him, and I ended up doing work trade so that I could get the Vespa without actually having to pay any money for it, which was a sweet deal. So I have a 2005 GT200, and I had never ridden powered two-wheel before. I'd ridden bicycles and things, but it arrived, and like 2 months later, I did MotoGiro America. which was like, okay, and I'm brand new. Is there anyone who knows less about this than
Jump in the
I
deep
do?
end, yeah.
You know, it was just amazing. And it was a fabulous ride. We went, you know, all the way down one and up over Hunter Liggett, you know, and this whole thing. And my skills got a lot better during that time. But I used to, earlier in my professional life, I used to repair Xerox copiers for a living. So I've got mechanical skills, and I still refuse to pay people to replace things on appliances. I just repaired my washer because it broke, and I just got the schematic online and went, okay, it's got to be that in order to part and go. So I would like to be able to do my own stuff on the scooter, and I've been, because you're riding it, and it's only got the two wheels, and you're out on the. I've been hesitant to just try it on my own. So I want to learn to do things here, so I have a higher level of confidence.
At least we will give you a chance and show you.
To just start.
How do I get to it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's what I want to do.
My name is Lisa Tony, and on Modern Vespa, I'm Tony L, very original. So I answer to Lisa or Tony because people
They think you're Tony.
think I'm Tony. I started riding about 4.5 years ago. I have a Piaggio LT150, which I love, and just want to learn more about how to fix it. I've done a few little minor things. I put the Euro turn signals on and installed a power outlet, and I want to tear out the emissions in the underseat bucket for my lack of storage, but you know, I just want to get an idea of more things. Oil change I've done. Watched Pete replace my belt that I blew out on the side of, on the way back from Sacramento, going wide out throttle on the highway.
Some of us know him as Naked Pete.
Just go on the cannonball with me. You can change about 20 belts.
Hi, my name is Steve. I'm Quig on Modern Vespa. I used to ride motorcycles for like 20 years, and then I stopped when I had kids, and I missed it. I wanted to get back to it, and so I happened to be going by the Vespa of San Jose. I test drove a 200. Yeah, well, I was going to be practical. It was going to be my commute to work, you know. It was also a heck of a lot of fun. I remembered the fun, the two wheels, and it made my commute fun again. Well, I didn't get to 200. I got a 250 that somebody had just traded in, and I was really glad I did. And 3 months later, and right away I found Modern Vespa. And 3 months later, I'm driving to Seattle on this bike with these crazy guys that barely stop for gas. It was ridiculous. I had a blast. And I rode with them quite a bit. Yeah, what's that?
You learned a lot.
I learned a lot, yeah. I had to. You know, I mean, they wanted to go fast in the twisties everywhere. And fortunately, I'd motorcycled before, and you know, I picked up on it real quick. And after I'd been riding about a year, Jess goes, "Quig, you're getting fast." After I'd been riding it for a few more months, got a little more used to
I
it.
had been off the bike for like 8 months myself, and I was slow, so it was especially noticeable. You were riding significantly better.
Anyway,
than I was.
I do commute on my bike. I do the maintenance on my bike. I don't want to pay somebody else $120 an hour. But I haven't done the valves or the belt. I've just done the minor maintenance things,
We
and
won't do that.
so yeah, I want to learn the major. And I'm a school teacher for the last 34 years. I love learning new things and going places. So
Okay. Jess, I think you're the last guy. Jess.
My name is Ryan, and I ride a GTV250, and been riding for about 3 years. Had a GTS before that, which is no longer.
Wrecked or?
Yeah, got hit by a BMW car at an intersection. Yeah, when I was in the middle. So, but it was fine. It was low speed impact. So, but then it kind of multiplied. I wrecked that one, and then got 2 more bikes. So got the GTV, and then an Aprilia Mana, an 850. And they've both been a lot of fun, and so very scooter-like, the Mana. And I've also been paying fucking Pete, I guess, and would like to not do that as much and be able to just ride anywhere and be able to service my bike and be able to have a lot of fun. Very grateful for you doing this, so thank you. Yeah.
Good. I'm happy to do it.
Just as a point of reference, from what I've learned from these guys over the years, I haven't paid anyone to work on my Vespa since 2006. You can do anything you want. It's not rocket science. It's just the courage to dig in and do it.
With certain connections, the same thing is, even though I'm not supposed to or whatever, but for certain people I know, I said, come on over, I help you out, or I do something for, but being a close community here like that, and, door down and forget about it. So.
Yeah, I think for me, I've always been really willing to dive in and do electrical or cosmetic types of thing. I've never paid to have somebody put crash bars on or install a horn or the Euro turn signal kit. But as soon as you take something that works properly, like the engine, and just take it apart. And then now it doesn't work. It's like, it's like,
and how come I have extra bits?
And it's like, if you don't get it back together, it's not going to move from there because you don't own a truck, and how are you going to get it to the dealer? So it's that's always been where I stop. It's like I can drain oil and add oil, but as soon as I'm taking apart the carburetor, it's like
it is really not that complicated. You just got to see it or know or ask somebody what is really what. And it's pretty straightforward. Unfortunately, you need a few tools. You don't need a hoist. You can take the motor out on the floor if you want to. But there's certain things and there's certain tools you need. And as we use and as we do it, we will explain like a special tool. There's a special tool you can make out yourself. You can make it. You don't have to buy it. Because there's certain things you just look at them and you don't need that fancy tool from Piaggio for $150. You can make one for $5. Same tool, does the same thing. So that's what we're here to, I have the original tool and I can show you what I use for it because it's easier than some other stuff. But that's what I want you to know about it. That's why we're doing this, so.
I'm Jesse, better known as Jester or That Bloody Stig on Modern Vespa, so you've probably seen some of my psychotic rants. Let me see, I've been riding officially for 10 years. I've been with Vespa Club Los Gatos for the past 8. Let's see, I started out in 2002 riding the 150 ET4, and I've gone through the paces of having to go up to San Francisco Vespa when they were the only game in town for service, so I know all about having to pay out the ass for service every month, literally, because of how much I rode. Come 2006, after laying it down and 11,000 miles, I did purchase my first was it 1985 Mark I T5, so I mean, still have that. That's over at my friend's house, at his house. So that was my first.
One that works or one that doesn't work?
It works.
Okay.
It works fine. Oddly enough, vintage actually does work a lot better than modern at most times, which is interesting. So I have my first vintage in 2006. Then come 2007 when I rode with a number of these guys up to Seattle for the very first time. That was when I had my first purchase of a 2006 GTS250. Definitely so much easier to ride, especially for commuting when you're going from the South Bay up to the peninsula and back and whatnot. Let's see, what else? I am the unofficial photographer for Vespa Club Los Gatos, so if you ever see a picture of one of our events, that's probably from me. And for this class, what I look to get most out of it is, in fact, a little bit more knowledge of how to do the service as well as problem solving for all the issues that I've encountered in the past couple of years as my GTS starts to gain more mileage and whatnot, so. That's it.
Good. All right. I think now we have an idea what kind of people, what kind of bikes we're talking about. And that is exactly the bikes we're gonna cover with. Certain things we're gonna do on the GTS, or if it is a 300, it's all the same. For your information, there's 3 different types of engines used. Now it's 4. Okay, the first one is air-cooled 150cc leader. The name for it is the leader motor category. That's what Piaggio put on there. And I think it leader stands for low emission advanced engine range or some weird, has nothing to do with it. Anyway, which is today used in different models. We have the Fly, we have the LX, LXV. It's all 150 air-cooled, and they're all the same engines. It's just the body different if it is Piaggio or if it is a Vespa. So they use that motor. Then we have the second category is Quasar motors, which is 200 category. Some people say it's liter, some people call it Quasar. They said Quasar because it's quarter-liter type, and 250. And then we have, that is the first water-cooled. They also had some water-cooled models in Europe, but they never got imported over here. So then the third category is the master motors, master engines. They also have an earlier model, and like an X9 or the later model master motor in the 250, in the 5, that's 500 cc. That is in the category master. That is in BV 500s, the early master motor like an X9. So we're talking, that is our Piaggio stuff. So it gets a little involved in it, and we're not going to get into Piaggio stuff except somebody here has a new BV 350. Yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit later. So that is the master motor is number 3, and the absolute new motor is the 350, which goes under the name 350 for the new BV 350. The latest what I heard is from Piaggio is going to put that 350 motor in the GTS frame in 2014. So seeing is believing, but at least we heard about it. And of course there will be a lot of 300s and 250s for sale because people want the bigger one, of course. You know. So anyway. So you know what is involved in that. Okay, let's get into service. What is service? First of all, the way I see it is, on what each dealer, if you pay the price, whatever they do, there is certain things they don't do, or whatever. If I do a service, the first thing is, especially on GTS models and GTS 300 models, is they have a facility that you can hang up a computer. You hang up a computer and you punch in the model and it will show you what kind of faults are in the scooter, because the computer will record it. So that's number one.
That's in the ECU?
That is the ECU. It's all in the ECU system.
And how long is it stored?
I'm sorry?
How long are those data, codes stored?
It stores the codes. If it has a defective code, it will store it for 16 starts.
Okay.
Does this use the
And it
same?
has 3 codes. One where the fault is still in it or the scooter doesn't run. Then it has a code, the second one, where it is once a while, and then after it doesn't show up for a while, then it goes into storage.
Okay.
These codes can be erased with the computer from the factory computer. This is what it looks like. This is what it looks like. They have three different ones. This is the box here, and the GTS model and the GTV and some of the big models, they all have that you can hang this into.
Does it have to be the Piaggio? Can you use a standard even if you get the plug?
No, nothing. It has to be made by Digitech. This is already obsolete for 5 years or 6 years, because then they went into what they call a Navigator. The reason they eliminated this one is the Navigator does the Aprilia, the Navigator does the Motor Guzzi, and blah, blah, blah. Even so, that is obsolete again. They changed it, and now the dealers have to pay $1,500 to get a new computer, and that is so advanced that if you hang it up, the guy in Italy can push the button and tune your screen.
Wow.
So that's why you probably end up paying $120 an hour.
Right.
That's one of the
Right.
reasons, because
Can we just
nothing
make
is
an app
for
for the
nothing.
It's coming.
So, but that's why I'm not into that. So.
There is a third-party device that you can buy from MotorSport. It's not very good, but it does read out codes and does a few diagnostics on the thing. It's not nearly as good as that, but it does exist. It's available.
Because what I was gonna ask is, even, eBay, all of the aftermarkets, is that available for us to find, or is it like?
I would try it. I bet you whenever the dealers or somebody gets a new one, they say, what am I doing with the old one? Maybe it shows up on somebody. I don't know.
I've seen them from time to time.
Just not very often.
Not
You
very
didn't
often,
tell me.
and you have to make sure that it has the module in it that matches the ECU.
Is it because sometimes they take the modules out or something?
Every time, that Digitech will hold 5 modules.
Oh,
Every time you put one in, it clears all the rest out. So you have to put in 5 at a time.
okay,
And my tool, I have one of those.
of course.
I've got 5 modules in it. So I basically, I can't change mine anymore.
Right.
But the aftermarket accessory Jess was talking about goes into a laptop. And it has the wires that you just plug right into the diagnostic port, and you can read all that stuff. What is that, like?
$200, and you need a computer with a serial port.
Oh,
Sure.
wow.
Has dinosaurs.
So you gotta go to it.
I have a 1998 Bio, Sony Bio. It's slow but it works. Yeah.
And that's the only way, yeah. And you said it's for motorsport?
MotorSports scooters.
Yeah, and that's, for doing the tricky stuff, you absolutely have to have that.
They're in San Diego, online, they're known as ScooterWest.
Oh, okay. The ScooterWest I'm used to. Yeah. Okay.
That's a wonderful program to have.
And I use it probably no more than once every other year. I really don't use it that often. But every once in a while, you really want to know what that code means. So.
But now we know you have.
Okay,
Yeah, we know behind you guys now.
let me get going. We will, every so often, we will have a break, that we can use my bathroom, and have some coffee, and we can talk, people can talk to each other about it.